just finishing the Parish Walk was probably more emotional than winning. I had a ding-dong race with Derek, well, obviously elated and relieved. But I think there's nothing like finishing the Parish Walk. No matter what position you finish in, I think that's a win. That means far more. To finish a Parish Walk is more important than winning a Parish Walk. My greatest relief and burst of emotion was turning the first time I finished the Parish Walk is turning the corner of Port Jack Tippy and seeing the War Memorial, and I knew that I had plenty of time in hand, and no matter what happened, if I collapsed and there was broken glass in front of me, I'd still finish by blinking my eyebrows. You're proud of yourself when you win the Parish Walk, but then the accolade really catches you up. People stop you in the street after that, and it's the follow through. You know you've done it, but you don't realise that people around you, the whole island, know you've done it, and it's like an afterburn or something, I suppose. It's like a follow through.
I had high hopes. I'd been second twice to John Cannell, and I thought if I didn't win it that year, I might never win it. So I was hopeful. And it's something I always wanted to do, but never thought I'd achieve. But I remember I was absolutely delighted. It wasn't, with not so many people in it there wasn't that many at the finish line. I remember about a dozen people, so it was a lovely morning. It was quite quiet, but very emotional.
I was absolutely thrilled to bits. It's quite hard to explain. It's like something you've been waiting for a very long time, and then suddenly it's there, it's yours. Nobody can take it away from you. I remember coming down Port Jack, turning the corner at Port Jack Chippy, walking down the hill towards Prom, and thinking, yeah, this is it now. This is it. I've only got a few hundred yards to the finish line, but those few hundred yards actually, it's a mile, but it seems like 6 or 7 miles when you're actually down there. I remember thinking to myself, I was walking along there was people coming out the pubs and all the rest of it, saying, oh, well done, congratulations, you're doing well, keep going. And the feeling, it's a feeling of elation, it's a feeling of, it's fantastic, to be fair. People would come up to me in the street and say, well done, and I knew quite a few of them, to be fair, from training and walking events and things like that. But on occasion, total strangers who obviously, well, at the finish or were in the race themselves, would come up and just say well done and congratulations, how did it feel? It is a fantastic feeling. And I must say, crossing the line for the first time did compare, not as good as winning obviously, but the crossing the line for the first time, your first parish finish, is a brilliant feeling as well, and I must admit I was very emotional then as well.
After being second on 4 occasions, it was just brilliant. I mean, I never thought I'd get there to be the winner, but after trying and doing real good times behind Willie, it was a great performance. I wasn't actually cheerful. I think I was more cheerful when I became a centurion. Probably that was way back. But it's a thing I've always wanted to do, come into the island in 1975. Fell in love with the place, did the national 20 miles, and there was 166 started and only 4 from the island in those days. Now it's the numbers entered in the Parish Walk. That really started me on the Parish Walk in '85. I did a real good time under 17 hours, but after being second on 4 occasions, I said I never thought I'd get it, but that was something.
Just couldn't believe it, to be honest. It was such a 85 miles. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved, I was crying coming down Royal Avenue, knowing I'd got about a mile to go, and it was really great. Very good in those days. Good coverage in the papers. Yeah. And what beers after the race.
Right. Absolutely elated and exhausted. Very good coverage in the paper. Received a lot of messages and cards from fellow athletes and friends and family. Yeah. Amazing how many people don't realise I'm a former winner.
Well, it took a while to sink in, actually. A couple of days to sink in. It was. It meant a lot to me. I mean, massive all the way around the course. Yeah, there's lots of publicity of seeing people and radius to get to the finish. thinking about how fast I did it. That was a couple of days later.
Fishing more than I ever expected to get. The fact to have got rounded enough times was enough, but to win, it's alright, but a little bit of a hollow experience, as it happened to be the only time I was ever last. The press came round, there's a little article done in the newspaper. I came round to the yard and took photographs of me down there. But there was a certain piece went in the paper covering, because I think a girl from the south had done well in the ladies as well. So they covered a south side success.
Yes. The thing is, it's in the nature of the race that you know for a long time before this is going to happen, so you're sort of building up to it. It's almost a mistake because I was, I don't know, doing international, like yourself, Murray, internationals for Great Britain, competing for Great Britain, and I was disappointed I hadn't been selected for the Commonwealth Games for the island, so I thought, well, how to get noticed? You do the Parish Walk.
And did it pay off?
No, because now all people remember that I won the Parish Walk. They don't say, oh yes, well you won the British Olympic trials, didn't you, Gordon? In a way, no one's really interested in that.
I don't know, quite difficult, I can't remember really, to tell you the truth. Murray, no. I was just pleased with it actually. I was delighted because I'd sort of hung on for quite a while and just come along the promenade there. It was one of them never-ending finishes that keep going on and on and on, but I was just relieved to cross the line and quite chuffed really because I'd set out to do that year. I'd set out to win it that year and I went and done it, so I was quite happy. Yeah. Basically, because on that race I had quite a big gap there, and I was quite confident all the way through from about Mackle, something like that I wouldn't get caught. So yeah, I just really wanted to. I'd seen the trophy so many times before, and I just wanted to see all that might get my name put against all the other names that were on it.
Yeah, very emotional. We used to actually live on the course at Union Mills, in a little cottage, and used to be love our smoking and our drinking as you do. Like, I think I got to about 35 and I thought, this is doing me no good, I better start doing something. And because that walk went past, we used to always stand at the gate and watch the walkers going past, say, we'll do that one year, like, we'll do that. And it just sort of happens. I think one March, I think it was National Non-Smoking Day, we packed in the fags, like, and we thought, right, let's enter the Parish Walk, like, so and then I thought, yeah, I could win this, like, you know.
It's hard to describe, really. I was probably in tears coming down all the way down the promenade anyway, so just some respects just glad I was all over, because I always thought I could win it. When you actually do win it, it's quite difficult, really. First time in '83 when all I want to do is finish, and I finished quite strongly, so after that I thought it was only a few steps further. I always went to the pub at lunchtime, actually at 12 o'clock, because obviously we had finished quite early in those days.
Well, I just entered the race for the sake of the sport of it, and I was just fortunate enough to be the one to cross the line first. I never ever consider myself to be the first winner of the Parish Walk. It's not a case of winning, it's a case of finishing. And I was the first to finish the walk. What I did was I set up a schedule for myself. I went out a few times training, 3 times training. I done 10 mile, 15 mile, 20 mile. And I worked out a pace for myself in between 12 and 15 minutes a mile. Then I thought, well, the distance between each of the churches, I decided to measure out the time I should arrive at each of the 17 churches. And provided that everything went all right, I knew exactly where I was being. I did so. I couldn't believe the fuss that had been made out. I really couldn't. I was just one of the crowd that went in, and I was the first one to cross the line.